Listen in with KNN, the sports sound of the district. Today, we welcome a former standout and champion from the gridiron. After a superb college tenure at the University of Alabama, in which he earned all SEC and second-team All-American honors in 1994 and was named the MVP of the 1995 Florida Citrus Bowl, he was selected by the Dallas Cowboys in the second round of the 1995 NFL Draft. As a rookie, he was part of the Super Bowl 30 championship team that knocked off the Pittsburgh Steelers. Following his playing days, he returned to Tuscaloosa and received his degree at his alma mater in 2018.
Jay Barker with the ball to Sherman Williams out of the backfield. How many times have we seen this act? It's Sherman time, folks. A nickel package in for Ohio State. They pick up the blitz, and that's Sherman Williams. Oh, baby, look at this. Touchdown time.
It's the innovator of the Sherman Shake, Sherman Williams. He joins this live stream broadcast of Listen In with KNN right now with your host, Kelsey Nicole Nelson. It's Listen In with KNN, the sports sound of the district. We bring you the biggest guests, great analysis, and the hottest sports stories in the nation's capital and beyond. And we bring it to you live. Welcome to this live stream broadcast of Listen In with KNN. Here's your host, Kelsey Nicole Nelson.
All right. Hello, everyone. Happy Wednesday. I know we usually come to you all on Thursdays, but we're doing it special Wednesday this week. Of course, we have the holidays coming up, and I wanted to welcome in my very special guest today. I know we're all excited for the NBA draft, but before we even get there tonight, I'm welcoming in a football star to the show. We're going to talk the latest and greatest in football around the National Football League, his extraordinary career, college football, and so much more. So Dallas Cowboys fans, I'm probably about to make you really happy, and especially all of you that go for the Roll Tide. Joining me today is none other than Sherman Williams, a former University of Alabama running back and a former Dallas Cowboys running back. Also the Sherman Shake. Yes, I know y'all remember that touchdown dance. We'll talk all about that and more. So without further ado, joining me live on the show, I'd like to welcome none other than Sherman Williams. Sherman, how are you today?
I'm doing fine, Kelsey. How you doing? It's great to be on the show. I'm glad that you invited me out to share the information with people, and I'm looking forward to a great show.
Yeah, I look forward to it too. So I have to ask you, this is live. We cannot see you right now, Sherman. We just see your box. Can you see me okay?
I can see you, but your screen is frozen, but I can't see you.
Okay, so take you off and bring you back on. This is live, people, so we're going to try this and see if we can get Sherman Williams back, because I can see him backstage. He went out, but hopefully he'll be able to come back and join us. He's going to talk about his extraordinary career. He's got an exciting event coming up and so much more. And, of course, we'll talk college football. Then we're getting ready for Thanksgiving because we know our Washington football team plays the Dallas Cowboys. So we're definitely going to talk that and see Sherman's thoughts on who's going to win the game. I'm going to ask him to be unbiased, even though he used to obviously play for the Dallas Cowboys. So excited to have him on. Again, thank you for being with me. We're having a few technical difficulties, but hopefully we can get Sherman back on very soon and get this show on the road. So as always, thanks for joining me. And also thank you everyone so much for supporting all of my Washington football team work. It's been a blast to do that. Actually, just getting back from Ashburn to do this show, but I wanted to make sure that I brought you all just great, big quality content. And again, wanted to bring you guys some football content before we get set for the NBA draft. I know here in Washington, we're very excited to see what the Washington Wizards would do with their pick. We know they're trying to build that championship caliber team. I know there's a bunch of rumors going on about trades. You have Bradley Beal and John Wall, so we'll see what happens. But again, just trying to get all of our Washington teams to that caliber. I have Sherman joining me back now. I'm going to see if we can hopefully connect him on, because Sherman is just an extraordinary individual. Thank you already for supporting the show. Appreciate you, Dr. Bruno Mazzali. And again, Sherman Williams is going to be awesome. So we have a lot of great, fun things to talk about. So hopefully, let's see if we can get him back on now. Sherman, can you hear us?
I can hear you fine, but I can't see any video.
That is the weirdest thing. Yep, your video is not coming on. We can only hear you, which we might have to do. We might have to roll with it. It's weird because you were joining us live before we saw your video, and then now all of a sudden it's not showing up. But again, live show, technology, stuff happens. So we are going to have to, but you can't see us at all, right?
I can't see anyone at this current time, but you never know. Like you say, technology is technology, and in a matter of time, it could change.
All right, let's see. I'm going to take you off one more time and see if I can bring you. That's so weird that your video isn't coming up. All right, bring him on one more time. Can you see me now, Sherman?
I cannot.
But we cannot see you. That is the weirdest thing. And so on your phone screen, nothing's coming up?
Well, I can see the blank squares in the boxes. They are blank.
Yeah, that's the weirdest thing, Sherman. I'm not sure why we can't see you. You're connected to your Wi-Fi, right? You guys get to see the behind the scenes of what happens in the media business.
I am connected to Wi-Fi, and it's showing a strong signal, so I'm not sure why it's not connecting.
I'm gonna see. Let's have you log out one more time and click the link and try to come back in, and let's see if that works. And if not, well, I guess we'll just have to hear you without seeing you. But hopefully we're able to solve this issue, because this hasn't really happened before. So I'm not convinced it's you, but we're going to figure this out. So I'll have you go out and then hopefully come back in, and then hopefully you'll be set.
Okay.
All right, so I'm going to take you off screen. Thank you, everyone, for bearing with us. Trying to bring Sherman on. He's going to log out and then log back in. And then, well, there you go. Sherman, we can see you now. There we go. Can you see us? All right, so he just went out. Hopefully he's able to come back in. So I know you guys saw him. Technology, stuff happens, and hopefully you guys will want you guys to see him, because it's a live stream show. But if not, we'll have to do it just like radio, and you guys will just have to hear him. Give me a sec. Again, I'm welcoming on. Super excited to welcome on. He's a Crimson Cowboy, the Sherman Shake. I know you guys remember that fun touchdown dance, and former Alabama running back, a standout University of Alabama running back, and also a former Dallas Cowboys running back. He's doing a lot of great things now. He has his own company. He has a book. Sherman, can you see us now and hear us?
I can see a photo of you, and now I think I'm on now.
All right, here we go. See, live stuff. Look, you're used to this. Stuff happens in a game and everywhere else. But look, you keep going on, right? You don't stop, right? You got to get to your final destination.
It will come.
Exactly.
It will come too. You just have to be patient.
You just have to be patient. So thank you, everyone. Exactly. So Sherman, first, I like to kick things off. How are you feeling? How are you doing?
I feel great. I mean, with everything going on in 2020, with the pandemic and everything with COVID going on, I feel wonderful. I have no complaints.
It's a lot going on. So yeah, it's just a blessing, right? We have our health. We're healthy. No COVID infected people, right, in your family? Everyone's doing okay?
Everyone's doing well. No complaints. I hadn't had any instances of anyone in my family being diagnosed with COVID or anything to this point. So I'm thanking God for that and just being happy about that.
It's a blessing. And since you're rocking the shirt, we might as well start with the University of Alabama. Obviously, you're still proud. I mean, and I can see why. I mean, just the records that you set at Alabama, then going back to get your degree. So let's start with the Roll Tide. I mean, the Crimson Cowboy. I love that nickname for you. But you are born and raised, right, in Mobile. Alabama. So talk about what was it like growing up in Alabama?
Well, Alabama is big city at all, far from it. And, we do live a life on the beach. I'm from an area that is most connected to the Gulf of Mexico. So
Yeah.
we learn a lot from the water and being out there in the water and jet skiing and coming up in that type of environment. So, but football is king in this area. Football is the number one sport. And I was a kid growing up in Alabama that loved to play football and ended up being a college football player. Went on to be drafted by the NFL. But going to school at the University of Alabama was one of my greatest experience in my young adult life. And I just feel honored to represent the university today and continue to represent. So, but the Dallas Cowboys, hey, it's been my long time NFL team. Grew up a Cowboy fan. My mother was a Cowboy fan. Introduced me to the Cowboys when Tony Dorsett was playing. So my football career has just been a dream come true.
Yes, I mean, and how cool is it to get to play for the team that you grew up rooting for, right? And that your family rooted for. I mean, you truly have one of those extraordinary careers. And I love that you touched on Alabama, the beautiful beaches down there. Yes, I'm happy you touched on it. I'm a little jealous. I didn't get that in my backyard growing up, but I'm glad that you had that, Sherman.
Well,
what a great place for a childhood,
yeah,
right?
I
makes
know,
sense.
right? It's a good thing. But
Yeah,
the only downside to that, you have to be very because of the hurricanes. We have hurricanes that come into our area and
yeah,
could destroy a entire community. But other
yeah.
than the hurricanes, we have great weather. The beaches are pleasant, and everything is good. It's lovely. It's a great area to be in, especially in the summer and winter times.
Yeah, again, just beautiful, beautiful area. And it's great that you're back in your hometown area. I know you're doing a lot of good work down there, but we love to see that because sometimes I know, people always say, Sherman, don't forget where you come from. And not only did you not forget, you're back there and you're giving back there. And I think that's a fabulous thing.
Yes, it is. To be able to help your home first, I eventually would like to spread out, but I know
Yeah,
the first place you have to start is within. And when you start within, then you're able to grow outward. So I wanted to come back to my hometown where I was born and raised and give
yeah,
back to the community where I was raised at before I started to venture out into other different communities. But it's been a good experience. We have a program here. I have a partner who also played with me at the University of Alabama by the name of David Palmer. And we
yeah.
started this program 7 years ago to work with these children in the community. And it's been growing and going. And we just feel blessed to be in a position that we are to use what our God gifts are to help other people, to give us that platform of what people in our area like and love is football.
Yeah, football is religion, right? Down south, right? We love it, we crave it, we breathe
It
it.
is.
And it's so special to be able to give back to your community in that way. How special is that, especially in your hometown? I think, again, you're just doing great work. And while we're touching on that, I know giving back to youth is something that's really important, right, in your life story and what you want to do. To keep just showcasing them the great that they can be. But even I think you've been awesome because you've also owned up to your own mistakes, and share that with them. So, I mean, what do you hope youth take from just your life story overall, Sherman?
Well, my life story is a checkered past. I've also so after winning championships on every level, state championship in high school, national championship in college, and
Yeah,
also a world championship with the Dallas Cowboys. I
three
also
championships.
went through a period and point.
We just lost Sherman, so hopefully we get him back on. Thank you, everyone, so much for bearing with us. I'm joined today by Sherman Williams. As he was just touching on, he is a 3-time champion. He won a state championship in high school, a national championship with Alabama as part of that 1992 team, which is crazy for me to think about because that was the year I was born. And then if you remember that, he scored the first touchdown in the title game against Miami. And then he also, hopefully he shows it to us, has a Super Bowl ring with the Dallas Cowboys. So Sherman Williams is doing a lot of great things and great stuff. And he's giving back right now to his hometown in Alabama. Bring him back on to finish telling his story. All right, Sherman, we got you back. You were just telling us you're a three-time champion and sharing how, you share your life story. You talked about your checkered past and what you share with youth and the young people.
Right. It's very important to be able to live and share my life experiences, actual life experiences. Like I said before, after winning the championships, the 3 championships on each level, I also served jail time and was incarcerated and served federal prison time, to where I was able to reflect on my life and see what mistakes I made, and also be able to come back to the community and use my mistakes to help other people not make the same mistakes.
Right.
So that's one of the blessings of going through something and having a story and having a testimony. Because if you have a testimony, you're able to testify and you're able to help other people. Some people get embarrassed and so ashamed of some of their mistakes to where they don't get a chance to use them to benefit humanity. And I just feel grateful that I'm able to get out in front of people, get in front of children, adults, all types of environments, and use my experience as a tool to be able to help encourage other people who have been in a similar situation and have a similar story, but just didn't know how to express it.
Right. And again, I think it's so fabulous that you are able to share that story with youth, because I know it's not easy, right? I mean, we talked about just having checkered past, but I think the best thing is what happens after we fall down is you get back up. And you got back up pretty strong, Sherman. And the fact that you not only got back up, but started walking into the communities and sharing your story with youth, I think is a beautiful thing. Sherman, I'm going to take you off really quick and bring you back on because you're frozen. We can hear you, but for some reason your video's frozen. So we're going to bear with us. All right. I'm going to bring Sherman back on. I'm not sure what's happening, but again, live technology. You guys see, this is not a pre-recorded show. Everything you guys are seeing happens live on this very show. So Sherman, can you, okay. So I think we can hear you, Sherman, but can you see us?
I can't see anyone at the time, but hey, we're going to keep going and we're going to show resilience and we're going to make this show happen. And you're doing a fabulous job of coordinating this and keeping it going even through this turbulence. So that's just a testament to your professionalism. And I'm quite sure your audience and your people that are listening are really appreciating you right now.
I appreciate that. Like, you never stop. You know that. Game's on the line. You never stop. You keep going because you never know what the end result will be unless you finish. So, Sherman, I want to continue on with just your great work and your story. We're talking about Alabama. I shared when you had knocked off, and you talked about being a 3-time champion and All-American football player. You won a state championship, right, in high school. So, talked about your greatness there, a national championship with Alabama as part of that 92 team. You got to talk about that. Tell us about that 92 team. What made that Alabama team just so special? And how were you all able to do it all to get to that championship caliber level?
Well, when we was playing in the national championship game, we played against a team that was coming off a decade of dominance, which was the Miami Hurricanes.
Right.
They were the #1 team ranked in the nation. We had battled all the way from the 23rd spot in the preseason and played a season with the first SEC championship game against Florida, and we was able to win that game, and we went on to play in the national title against the Miami University. We was a heavy underdog, about double digits, 10 to 14 points, somewhere there in the underdog, but our team believed in ourselves and our commitment to winning, and we wanted to get out there and show everyone the type of football that we played in Alabama was going to be able to match what those guys were doing down in Miami. So we got to the game down in the Sugar Bowl in New Orleans, a heavy underdog. We came out, the crowd is ecstatic. We're playing a good game. We take the momentum, and I scored the first touchdown of that game.
Yes, you did.
When I scored the first touchdown of that game, I did my signature move, the Sherman shake.
This is why I'm sad we don't have you on video. I would have asked you to do it. We'd love to see if you still have it, Sherman.
Yeah, I understand. And when I did the Sherman shake, everyone in the crowd just went crazy. So the crowd got involved and got motivated, and the players and team and everyone on the sideline started to really feel confident that we could win the game. Not
Mhm.
only were we thinking that we was going to be able to stay in the game, but now we're at the point we're thinking that we're going to actually win this game if we could
Yeah.
continue to do what we was doing. And we end up winning the game 34-13.
Yes.
And we covered the spread on the opposite way. Instead of us losing by double digits, we end up winning by double digits. So it was a great, great experience for us. All the players. It was a life lesson that you never give up on your ideas and your thoughts. It was just something that it taught me. No matter what, hard work pays off. We worked extremely
Yeah.
hard to get where we were, and we wasn't gonna just lay down and give it up the way people thought it was gonna happen. So our hard work paid off, and we became national champions.
Yes, hard work pays off. I am so happy you touched on that because it's always true and it's always factual. And then not only in that, I think you started a dance craze in the dance move. I still don't think anyone in the NFL today, Sherman, has it like you in terms of touchdown dances. So I will give you that for really doing a
Well,
dance that started a trend.
yeah, it did set up a trend, and then it's one other guy that had one that was pretty popular, the Icky Shuffle.
Yes,
I know
yeah.
everyone that remembers the Icky Shuffle and Icky Woods with the Cincinnati Bengals. He really put his shuffle on the map, and then it came the Sherman Shake.
So I gotta ask you then, are there any touchdown dances today that live up to Sherman Williams par or Sherman Williams level?
And on the level of consistency, I wouldn't say that anyone has come up, but there was one guy that was pretty entertaining during his time, and that was Ocho Cinco. I
Yes.
thought that some of his end zone antics were pretty hilarious and funny, and I would always enjoy watching him do something, but he never did establish one consistent thing.
Yeah, we need the consistency. Consistency is key. I think back to, it wasn't on touchdowns for him, but I think back to a guy like Ray Lewis, right? And we all love the squirrel, right? The squirrel dance that he did. And it was consistent, right? And
Yeah.
it was something that Baltimore fans love. And even now, players today, will still do it as not a respect. And sometimes they'll do it for downright disrespect, right? When they're playing the Ravens. But it's something
Yeah.
special, I think, that we love to see. And it brings the fans into the game. I
Oh
think that's
yeah.
what it's like. It's hard to not be at
I
those games.
I do remember Ray Lewis dance, the squirrel dance. I do remember that.
And
Yeah, there
why?
was a few guys that came.
Yeah, go
There
ahead.
was
I'm
a few
sorry.
guys that came. Victor Cruz had one that
Yes,
he,
salsa. He did the
he
salsa.
was trying to get something started, but I don't know what happened to him after like 1 or 2 seasons. He kind of disappeared.
I know. I think he's definitely one of those guys, always like, what could happen if, because obviously such a promising player, and just the fan base he did, and just how fun he made football. Football's fun. I know it's a business, but we all love watching. It's a fun game, especially when you're winning, and you've done a lot of winning in your career. And again, I'm so happy that the University of Alabama has close ties to you, and that you're doing good work in Alabama. And while we're touching on Alabama, I have to ask you, I knew you're born and bred in Alabama, but were there any other schools, Sherman, that possibly you were thinking about when you were selecting in college that almost took you from the great state of Alabama?
Yes, I was actually committed to Louisiana State University, LSU,
Mm-hmm.
because I was heavily recruited. Being in this area on the Gulf Coast, LSU was actually closer in proximity to my hometown than the University of Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
University of Alabama being up north, and I grew up an LSU fan. So I talked about it in my book, The Crimson Cowboy, about how the recruiting process and everything was going, and how it came down to an overnight decision the night before National Signing Day. I
Yeah.
made the change, and how everyone was just shocked and surprised because I had early committed to LSU, and I was LSU all of my years of high school, telling everyone I'm going to LSU. But then I had never visited the
Mm-hmm.
University of Alabama. I had
Yeah.
been to Baton Rouge before, but I
Right.
had never been to Tuscaloosa. So once I did get a chance to experience a visit on the campus in Tuscaloosa, then my whole objective changed. When I went there and I saw the tradition and I seen how the players and the camaraderie and the coaches and the whole establishment, it just made me change my mind.
Yeah.
I didn't want to go from winning a state championship, and I knew the feel of a championship atmosphere, and I just didn't get the championship atmosphere when I went to Louisiana State. But when I went to Alabama, I just felt like it was going to be a championship atmosphere. And sure enough, my sophomore year, we
Yeah.
won the national title.
You knew it. You were psychic. You knew great things were yet to come. And obviously that championship condition kind of is still continuing, right? When we think of a national championship team, Alabama is constantly in the talk. And then you look at all of the great players that came out of Alabama in the National Football League now, right? And there's a lot of y'all. Y'all are dominating pretty much
Yeah.
in the National Football League. So just talk about, like, what does it mean to you to represent the Alabama football program, to come out of that program?
Well, like you say, we right now we have a starting player in every position in the NFL.
Yeah.
And that's something, just another testament to the tradition of the
Mhm.
University of Alabama. I mean, Nick Saban, Coach Saban is doing a great job of getting players prepared to get to the next level. But I tell people from time to time, I have to remind people that, hey, we were winning championships even before I went to the University of Alabama.
Mhm.
Alabama is traditionally a football organization, a football program that
Right.
has won a national title in every era, no
Yeah.
matter the bowl championship series, the playoffs, the AP, the UPI, whatever they was using system to determine the national champion, Alabama has won a championship in each one of those systems. And
Right.
not many universities can say that. And to represent a university that has been able to accomplish such things is just an honor and a
Yeah.
privilege to be able to represent that.
And talking about representing Alabama, not only did you represent them on the football field, you also received your degree. I think that is so phenomenal. You went back to school and made sure you finished that up. And we know the importance of a college degree, right? Especially for life after football, which is amazing. I know, you returned to school in January 2017. You went to complete your degree. You're taking online classes. You had weekend courses on campus. But to do that and walk across that stage, I have to ask you, Sherman, what was that feeling like for you?
Well, it was a great accomplishment. One of the things that we talk about in our program is
Yeah.
education, the
Mhm.
priority of education, and
Right.
how the children who want to be athletes, but you have to be a student first because
Yep.
that's the way it's stated, student athlete, not athlete student. And we want to be an example of all things that we preach and teach in our program.
Right.
And I just thought that it was just more fitting for me to go back and complete my degree so
Yeah.
the children that comes to our program, they won't have the excuse that, hey, Sherman, you didn't finish yours, so why should I finish mine? So I
Yeah.
don't want to give them that out. I didn't want to give them that outlet to say, okay, he didn't finish, so I could drop out as well. So I
Mhm.
wanted to go back and just show them that whatever you start, if you start anything, you want to see it all the way through to its completion,
Right.
no matter what it is. If you start a job, you start a season, you start high school, you don't want to drop out of high school, you start a football team, you finish into the end. It's just whatever you do, you see it through to the end. And if it's not working for you, then you make a change.
Right. Well said.
So
Well said.
so that was the motivating factor, was
Yeah.
to be able to be an example for the youth, but
Right.
also just to have that degree, like you say, in a second career after football.
Yeah.
It gives you open doors and gives opportunities to further your career in other areas. So
Right.
it was a great thing to do, and it's what we preach and teach in our organization, and that's
Yeah.
something we feel like is very beneficial and necessary.
Very important. And like you said, student athlete. It's not athlete student. Student athlete comes first, and it's very important to be a student. And I think now especially it's amazing because a lot of programs, a lot of colleges are making it so players can go back and finish their degree, of course, should they choose to leave early because of their athletic talents. And I get it, right? Your athletic body is on a time frame, right? Like only so many players are able to have these long, lengthy NFL careers, and there always is life after football that you have to figure out. I'm so happy you went back and got that degree. You got it in interdisciplinary studies with the concentration in community leadership. So again, I know you're going to do phenomenal things. And something you've continued to touch on throughout this interview is your book. And I think your book is something that everyone needs to read if they haven't had a chance yet. First off, it has the best title, Crimson Cowboy, the rise and fall of a three-time champion. So in addition to just being a three-time champion, I mean, you've added author to your title, Sherman, which is phenomenal. So tell us about, this book and what made it just so special and so needed to write it.
Well, you have a legacy,
Right,
and you want to leave a imprint on the world, on the
right,
earth, whenever you leave. And the best way to do that is to put it in print.
right.
And I wanted to write the book just to make sure that people understand what people are going through that was in my similar situation,
Mm-hmm.
not only the football, but also life in general.
Right.
So, my book, I tell people my background is football, but my
Mm-hmm.
book is a life book. It's not a football book, it's a book about life. It's a book about experiences. It's a book about being able to overcome obstacles. Just a book about growing up in a area of Alabama to where limited resources, all
Mm-hmm.
these different things about life in general. And people have been very receptive and they love the book. I've got great reviews. People
Yeah.
who read it, they love it. They share it with other people. I get testimony from people who have read the book and was inspired to do something different.
Yeah.
It's been a good thing. It's been a great experience for me. When I was incarcerated, I had no idea that I was an author. It didn't
Mm-hmm.
cross my mind as a child, as a young kid, that
Right.
I could be an author. So being incarcerated, it was one of the things that I did take from that experience to learn that within myself that I had a talent
Mm-hmm.
that I just suppressed. I didn't have an avenue or a guidance or a motivation to become an author as a young person. But once I realized that I had the skill and the talent to do it, then I was motivated to do it. And
Yeah.
that's what kind of information that I want to pass on to the children.
All right. So we were hearing from Sherman Williams. We just lost Sherman. Excuse us as we bear with us. He's having a couple storms in his area, which of course would happen when we're trying to do a live show and get this done for you all before the NBA draft. We're talking about his book, Crimson Cowboy. Again, if you haven't had a chance to read it, I highly, highly, highly recommend it. If you're like me, you have Amazon and a Prime member, and look, I'm giving them free sponsorship, even though they don't sponsor the show. But Crimson Cowboy, the book is called The Rise and Fall of a Three-Time Champion. And as Sherman was touching on, he details up. We have Sherman back. There we go. Oh, and we got video now. There we go, Sherman. So you were
Okay, good. I'm glad. We're gonna we're gonna work this out, and it's gonna be perfectly fine, and people gonna understand that technology is what it is, and nothing we
Yeah,
can do about it. And we're gonna everything happens for a reason. We're
exactly.
getting video, and it might be the perfect timing for the video.
That's
So
true. Look, because you were getting into the book, so many great things. And you know what? Like I said, it's technology, and this is a live show. There's no editing. Everything we're saying, there's no cut cards, right? Everything is pure and raw, and people are seeing us in the elements. I want you to continue on. You were talking about your book, Crimson Cowboy. I was just bragging about how great it is, how it's a life book, and you were talking about, how you want children to see this book.
yes, and that's what it's about. Learning about myself and being able to share it. The
Right,
book allows me the opportunity to share, but also
right,
gave me the opportunity to express. and be creative. And that was something that, being an athlete, I was more focused on the athletic side than actually being on my creative side.
Right.
And so now I have I have understood that I have a creative side outside of athletics.
Yeah.
And we want to be able to give that information to the children to say, hey, you like sports, football is good, you're good at it, but
Mm-hmm.
you also have a creative side that you may have not even explored. So let's explore your creative side and see what we can do on that side.
Right. Right. Like you said, I mean, education is so powerful, and it gives, youth endless opportunities to hopefully truly achieve that American dream. And I think now more than ever today, we can, seeing is believing. And I think, we have someone like Vice President-elect Kamala Harris, right? And children are able to see what it is to be a woman of color that's going to the highest house in the world, right? The highest house in the land, in the White House, in your story, and getting to the top level of the National Football League, which is not easy, Sherman, because, we see you guys out there, but only so many guys actually make it to the NFL. And unfortunately, a lot of those dreams are deferred, and it's tough and it's hard. And especially at what you do, running back, right? That's wear and tear on your body, which is truly, truly a lot. All right, guys, we lost Sherman again, but we're going to get him back. I know he's going to come back because he's Sherman Williams, and I know he wants to continue to touch on and tell his story, but he was touching on his book. All right, Sherman's quick. We already got him back. There we go, Sherman. So again, I think you touched on it. I want to go back to your book. You talked about, you didn't know you were an author while you were incarcerated, and you were incarcerated a long time. So, I mean, how were you able to kind of get your thoughts and ideas together while being incarcerated to actually make this book a reality? Because I'll tell you, Sherman, a lot of people tell me, hey, Kelsey, I want to make a book, right? Which is easy for a lot of people to say, but 15 years in federal prison, how were you able to get all those data collected so when you got out, you could release this book to the masses and to the world?
Yes. I made some mistakes that I really don't feel proud of. And I know I regret some things, some decisions as my early years. Even in going back to my teenage days, I talk about this story in my book as well. When I was a juvenile at the age of 12 years old, I was expelled from school for a alcohol distribution ring between some of me and my what we call gang members and friends and peers in the neighborhood. We decided that we were going to enter into criminal mischief at a very early age. And some of those relationships that were formed back then were not good relationships for me to be a part of, but I was just living and making poor decisions as a young person. So those are other life experiences with the age group of children that we deal with in our program, to where they feel comfortable when they know my story and they know that they can relate because I walked in those same shoes with them. And I'm not afraid to share my testimony with them to let them know I made the same decision.
Just when things get good, we lose Sherman, but I know he's going to pop back on and pop back up. And again, thank you so much for bearing with us. You guys are hearing from 3-time champion Sherman Williams. Again, he won it on the highest level in the Super Bowl, a college champion, a high school champion, and already Sherman is back. And hopefully, I don't know if we'll get his video. Oh, we got his video too. So you guys get this video and his audio. All right, Sherman, we're gonna make it through. We're almost at the finish line. I can feel us getting the victory, which is great. But again, I appreciate you touching on that. Again, it's not easy to look back at your life and, say, I messed up and I made a mistake. But I think if you can touch a young person and touch a young person's life, it's so important to share that story so they can hear, because none of us are perfect, right? We've all done things. And again, you're back on your feet and just doing some incredible things. I know I want to touch on some of the great stuff you have coming up, but I mean, I would be remiss if I was on the show and I did not talk about the Dallas Cowboys with you, Sherman. You got to tell us, what was it like being a Dallas Cowboys, being a running back? And I don't know if you have it on, but that Super Bowl ring, you might as well tell us about it too.
Well, I'm all Alabama today, so I got to have my Alabama national championship ring on. Yes, I don't have the Super Bowl ring on today, but I do have my national championship ring on, representing the University of Alabama. And I do have a Super Bowl.
Okay, so I would do that when we're about to hear about the Super Bowl ring story. You guys saw him showing off his national championship ring with Alabama, which is obviously just cool in itself, but I do want him to touch on his Dallas Cowboys memories because I know I have a lot of Cowboys fans here in Washington. All right, you got to tell us, Sherman, before we lose you again, what was it like to be a Dallas Cowboy?
Well, being on the Dallas Cowboys, winning a Super Bowl as a rookie, playing with Hall of Fame guys, a Hall of Fame owner, Jerry Jones.
Yeah.
We have several Hall of Famers that played on that team: Deion Sanders, Troy Aikman, Emmitt Smith, Michael Irvin, Charles Haley. The list goes on to just to be a part of a program, a part of an organization, a team that had so much talent and being able to witness it live first. How many children that was growing up in that era would love to just watch Emmitt Smith or a Deion Sanders every day for years, to be up close and personal with a Michael Irvin every day for years. I mean, I wasn't in awe of the talent because I came from the University of Alabama and we was champions and we was on a higher level coming out of college. But as a Cowboy fan growing up as a child, watching these guys play in the NFL and wanting to be there with them and then going to actually play with them, it just was a situation. You know, it was a dream come true. And being a Cowboy is something that I tell people all the time. At one point in everybody's life, they was a Cowboy fan. At one point,
no, not true.
One day, at some point, you were a Cowboy fan. You was, and this is where I get you. Did you ever consider yourself to want to be a Dallas Cowboy cheerleader?
Oh, never. Look, you know I work
no, that is not true. I can tell you right now.
I like to eat too much to be a cheerleader, Sherman.
Huh?
I like to eat too much food to be a cheerleader.
I understand, but every young female at one point in time would want to put on that star and grab them pom poms and put them boots on and kick and do that kick they do and live as a Dallas Cowboy cheerleader.
Too funny. Look, Washington fans are probably going to turn off this interview now. They're like, no, he did not say that. Because speaking of which, we got a big game coming up, Sherman, on Thanksgiving. You know that game we look forward to, Sherman, the Cowboys and the Washington football team, which I don't know if you're even used to saying. Are you used to saying that yet, Sherman, the Washington football team?
Well, I hope they change that pretty soon.
What would your pick be? What would your name be? Give us a name, Sherman.
Huh?
Give us a name.
I would call them the Washington Generals.
The Generals, okay.
Yeah, the Washington Generals, just because they're there in the nation's capital, and you know, the military and everything, and generals is a high rank. So I would just call them the Washington Generals and be done with it.
They might have to take that, Sherman. You might be responsible for the Washington football team's new name.
They need to get rid of that. The Washington football team. The Washington Generals would be just fine. They can put a statue of a soldier on the helmet and keep moving.
And that mascot would be pretty cool. I'm not even going to lie to you, but I appreciate you touching on that. And since we have the game coming up, I got to ask you, give me your score prediction. Who wins that game? Because you know the NFC East right now, Sherman, they're struggling. I'm just going to keep it real because we keep it real on the show. Just was about to get his prediction. That probably means his prediction was not going to be as good as my prediction for that game. But again, we're joined by Sherman Williams. And before I let him go, because I know I want to get you guys the NBA draft coverage, I have to get, but hopefully he can come back on to give us the score prediction for the Thanksgiving game. All right, he's coming back on, you guys. Sherman, can you hear us?
Oh.
There we go, Sherman. Before we go, I got to get your score prediction. We already have a fan saying that division is pretty sad. They're talking about the NFC East, Sherman.
Well, yeah, we sad for now. We are 2 years from winning a Super Bowl. Philadelphia Eagles won us a Super Bowl, and I think that our conference, the NFC East, has more Super Bowls as a total than any other conference in the NFL. So everybody can get the laugh on right now, but we are still the NFC East, and we are still the number one with the amount of Super Bowls, and we're gonna be there in the end. once
Uh-huh.
it all said and done. I mean, it's a lot of football left to play, and we will be there. But on Thanksgiving Day, I know that my Dallas Cowboys will be victorious, and we will whoop the Washington football team by a score of 38-28.
Oh, you have a high scoring game. All right. We see Dallas trying to do a little something, which is interesting you say that, especially with the quarterback situation in Dallas. But look, you believe, so I'm not going to take that from you. And I also got to get your thoughts since you're running back. I got to get your thoughts on Zeke, Sherman. How do you think Zeke has been playing so far this season?
Well, I think Zeke has to get back to being Zeke. I know his Batman and Robin theme and missing Dak Prescott and not having the leader and the captain of the team there. But Zeke is going to have to get back to his rookie and sophomore year to where he was very dominant at the running back position, leading
Right.
the NFL, leading rusher. So we got to get back to some of the old stuff that Zeke was doing. Being a type of top tier quality running back that he can be, and I
Yeah.
think that he will be. It just have to get back to it.
He just has to get back to it. Yeah, I heard here from a star running back himself in Sherman Williams. We know lots of great things are coming. And then I'm assuming you have are the Cowboys winning the NFC East, Sherman?
Yes, I have the Cowboys winning the NFC, and I think that we are a team that can get better as the season goes. I seen some good things when we played against the undefeated Pittsburgh Steelers. I thought that we played a pretty solid game. We just
Yeah.
came out on the short end of the stick, and I
Yeah.
think that we're a team that's capable of getting better. I don't think we have played our best football for the 2020 season, and I look forward to us getting better as the season goes. And with this division being so messed up right now, I think we still have a chance.
There's still a chance. And I want to talk about the upcoming event you have. But since you play with Deion, I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you, what do you think about Deion Sanders at Jackson State University?
Well, Jackson State has gotten acquired a great football mind.
Mm-hmm.
Deion Sanders is not only a Hall of Fame football player, but he has a football mind, and he's
Right.
going to change the culture of that organization and that program. If they were not a winning program before he got there, he's going to institute some good football into that program. And I
Yeah.
know him personally. He's my brother. We speak. We did a thing or two in the past 6 months where we was able to communicate. And I think that he's gonna do a phenomenal job in that conference. And being in the HBCU,
Mm-hmm.
it's just all makes it all that much better. Being a head coach at a HBCU and where he's gonna get the love from our people, and they're gonna respect him, and they're gonna know who he is, and he's gonna get a lot of support.
Yeah, and we see the support already pouring in. Again, just as significant at a historically Black college and university. I think is going to do very great good. Sherman, when you were coming up, did you ever look at any HBCUs when you were looking at colleges?
I did, and like I said, I was committed to LSU down in Baton Rouge, so I visited one of my official visits. I went back to Baton Rouge to Southern University, and I was considering that if I was going to go the HBCU route, I would have chosen to go to Southern University.
All right. Well, look, y'all heard it here first. Something y'all might have had a Sherman Williams there, but of course, that good old Alabama took him from you. But again, Sherman Williams, just a prolific career that you had. And you have an exciting event coming up before I let you go. Monday, November 23rd, you have the Iron Bowl Legends Benefit Gala. I'm kind of sad I can't travel because I would love to come to that. It's hosted by the Palmer Williams Group. It's going to be in Mobile, Alabama. And then also, I think it's great. You're going to have an opportunity, if you're going, which you guys should get tickets for a good cause, to meet and greet former Iron Bowl players from Alabama and Auburn universities. Tell us all about this interesting event that's coming up, and you can brag about it to us that can't travel down with COVID, but tell us what all the fun you're going to have.
We have a great event coming up with some community partners. We have Wind Creek Hospitality down in Atmore and Wetumpka, Alabama. We have Pilot Catastrophe is a great sponsor and benefit for our program and does a lot in the community. We have a great event coming up with the Iron Bowl legends, his former players that played in this great rivalry of college football. And we're going to have an event that's going to come out, and we're going to have a live auction. And one of our keynote speakers this year is going to be Mr. Trent Richardson, who also played at the University of Alabama, was the first round draft pick and for the Cleveland Browns, and also was a player for the Indianapolis Colts. He's going to be our keynote speaker this year. And it's a fun-filled event, and all the funds and we raise goes to benefit our youth development programs and Life Sync Academy that gives children the opportunity to learn and express themselves at no cost. We cover the cost for them to participate. We get the sponsorships. People can sponsor. People can purchase tickets. Our website is palmerwilliamsgroup.org. People can go on there and learn all they need to know about our organization, what we do, who we are, what we represent. And this event, Iron Bowl, is benefit.
Oh, we just lost Sherman, but he was touching on it. I will say, if you guys want to learn more about the event, it is on social media. It's on the website, but definitely check it out. And again, that is going to be Monday, this coming Monday, right before Thanksgiving, November 23rd. It is the Iron Bowl Legends Benefit Gala, and I think it's great. The funds that are raised will actually go to a free gift development program that Sherman was touching on, like Life Sync Academy, which has life skills, financial literacy clinics, and athletic youth camps. So lots of great things happening. Sherman, there we go. We got you back on to finish up telling us about this great event.
Yes, and we're gonna have the players are gonna be there signing autograph with photo ops and all these different types of things, and we're gonna get an opportunity to have a live auction to where the players come out and have great fun, auction off items that they sign, helmets and jerseys or different things that people bring in to sign and donate to the program to help raise funds. So it's going to be a fun-filled event, but we know we couldn't do it without our community partners. I mean, the people that support our organization is very much appreciated. And to be able to be on your show tonight to let people know about what we have going on is very, very appreciated as well. So we appreciate you. We appreciate Fox Sports. We appreciate everyone that's in your audience, your listeners. If they're not able to attend the event, they can also just make a donation. They can sponsor a child. They can go on our website and make a contribution. It's just something that we're very, very happy about, and we feel like it's making a great difference in the community.
Making a difference in the community, it's what it's all about. We can't take anything with us when we go, y'all, but how you make people feel and how you make your community stronger is very important. Sherman Williams, I am so looking forward to that event. I appreciate your time. I'm sure, like most people, you probably want to get to the NBA draft too. Last thing before I let you go, when people remember Sherman Williams, what do you want them to remember most about you?
Well, just remember that he was a person that endured hardships, overcame, was able to bless others through his testimony, and made a difference in the world. He was a difference maker.
Well said. Sherman Williams, thank you so much for joining me on the show. I hope the event's awesome. I can't wait to see the pictures and the video and all the fun stuff that you all are going to post. And please don't be a stranger to the show and keep up the fantastic work that you're doing. Really applaud it. And have a happy Thanksgiving next week.
Happy Thanksgiving to you as well. And like I said before, it was my pleasure. I really appreciate it. And to all the listener audience, please visit our website at palmerwilliamsgroup.org.
palmerwilliamsgroup.org. You guys just heard it here. Sherman Williams, thank you so much. Let you get back to your night enjoying the beautiful beaches out there in Alabama and having all the fun while we're freezing up here on the East Coast. Sherman, thank you so much. Really appreciate your time. Have a great one.
You do. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye. All right, you guys just heard from Sherman Williams. Again, prolific career, especially when you look at what he did at Alabama and also for the Dallas Cowboys. So, see, I have no bias, even though this is a Washington-based show. We welcome everybody on. We don't discriminate against anyone. So any team is welcome here. Sherman was a fantastic guest. So many great things he touched on. But no, I can't agree that not everybody in their life was once a Dallas Cowboys fan. But look, to each their opinion, their own. We'll be back next week on Tuesday. We're taking a break this Saturday. Saturday because I got to enjoy Thanksgiving like the rest of you, and a lot of great things coming up for the football season. So we'll be back next Tuesday at 6 p.m. with a very special guest. I'll give you a hint. It's another former football player because I'm going to get you guys ready for that Thanksgiving game. And then also, if you check out my podcast version of my show, very excited, Bart Connor, the Olympian, the gold medalist, joined me. I have a brand new episode with him. So special thanks to Special Olympics because he's also a Special Olympics board member for connecting me with Bart. And Bart was just an awesome person. So please listen to that show on iTunes, Google Play, or Spotify. And then also coming up, we're going to do an NBA draft on the audio version of my show. So Chase Hughes from NBC Sports Washington will join me. That show will drop Friday at noon. We're going to dissect the entire NBA draft. And of course, here in Washington, we're going to see how the Wizards did. And hopefully it's good. I want smiles here in Washington. All right. So we're going to do that. So Chase Hughes will be joining me on the audio version as well. So lots of great things coming. And next week on the audio version, we're going international because Listen In With KNN is a global show. So as always, I thank you so much for joining me. To my team, thank you, thank you, thank you. I promise I will not worry you over the Thanksgiving break. And to everyone for watching, it means the world to me. You all are why I'm able to do this show. Your support means the world. I can't say thank you enough, but just thank you. Special thank you. And since I'm donning the makeup in here that I wore earlier for Washington, a special thanks to my makeup crew, my hair crew, and everybody else as well for making my job easy, where I just get to come on and talk and have fun. So thank you so much to everyone. Again, I'll see you Tuesday next week for the live stream show. We have 2 audio shows out. Bart Connor, Chase Hughes this week. Don't miss it. And as always, if you like something on the show, hashtag Listen In With KNN or hashtag LIWKNN to join in on the conversation. And I will say, I'll give a little tidbit. I will have a brand new show dropping soon. It's with another radio network, but more details to come. So if you want to hear more about that, be sure to check out my website, KelseyNicoleNelson.com. So I'll continue to have this show, continue to grow this show. I have a lot of great guests coming on through the end of the year. So I'm telling you, bear with me because y'all will be surprised. Lots of great stuff coming. All right, guys, let's enjoy the NBA draft. Stay safe. Wear your face mask. And just please be kind and be nice to each other, all right? It makes the world a better and stronger place. See you next week, guys. Bye.
Follow Kelsey on social media at The Real K Nelson. Catch episodes of Listen In with KNN on YouTube, on air at AM 1340 and 96.9 FM Fox Sports Radio, on Facebook and Twitter, and online at KelseyNicoleNelson.com. Thank you for watching this live stream broadcast of Listen In with KNN.